as you can see, I am using a different software than I normally use, right? Well, I was gonna use my original software, like not original, but the one that I have been using, which can stream to a multitude of platforms. But I said, well, I'm gonna do it. So basically, what happened the past couple of days or past week or so is the internet connection for some reason has been dropping on and off, dropping on and off, right? And in the software that I was using, after it couldn't reconnect for a certain amount of time, they said it's a minute. I don't think it's a minute. I think it's a lot less than that. The software would disconnect, and even though in YouTube I have it set to not auto stop the stream, I have to request it to be stopped. The software would send the stop request once it can't connect to the internet for a minute. I'm like, well, I don't want that to happen. I would want to be the one to control it. So I emailed them. I said, you know what? Because I was already thinking about going back to this software that I'm using right now. I'm using OBS, right? Open source broadcasting system, open broadcasting system, something like that, right? That's what it stands for. And I used to use it like, I stopped using it last year in April. And part of the reason, because I was like, one of the reasons I wanted to be able to bring people up onto the stream, but now I'm like, I don't need anybody on the stream. If I need to bring somebody else on, I will figure out a way to do it, which is going to be a lot more cost effective. All right. But and I was paying for this software. This one, everything that you see here, I'm not paying for it. Right. And I emailed them because I said, you know what, if they it is very convenient. I have everything set up already. And I said, let me email them to see, is there any way that we can prevent this from auto disconnecting? And if there isn't a way, I would expect to say, well, we don't currently have a way, but it is something that we're going to be looking into, as any good software company would do. Like, yeah, we don't have a way for it, but let us get back to you. We're going to see if we can add it to the backlog. We're going to see what the demand is, right? But this was the response that I got, right? I'm going to show you the response that I got. I got this. So they said, let me see if I make it a little bit bigger. They said there isn't a way to have the reconnection time configurable. Why? Right? Like, why not? At the time it disconnects, it will have already been trying to reconnect for up to a minute. There isn't anything we can do on our end to change that. And I'm thinking like, well, if you are the ones who are creating the software, if you're creating the software, how is it that there's nothing that you can do about it, right? Like, it didn't make, like, it's like saying, well, I built the coaching portal, right? I built the app for my mom, which I published, and now she has access to it, and it's all good, right? But I'm like, if you are the ones who are if you create the software, how is it not possible? Can I get, and this is the thing, right? If I was just any regular customer, I might accept that answer, but I build software. I'm in tech. I've been testing software for God knows how long. You never really tell the customer that it's just not possible. It's, well, let me look into it. Let me find out. If it's not possible, tell me why. Like, what is the limitation that because honestly, all it could be is, all right, well, we need to add this part to our interface, to the settings. And we can say, do you want it to automatically disconnect after it loses connection for 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute? Or do you want to stop it yourself? And I would say it's just a configuration. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why something like that is not possible. This software just crashed on me, and I was able to open it back up and just keep streaming where I left off, because on YouTube I didn't have it set to auto stop. So I'm like, why is this such a complicated issue to figure out? So for me, I think I don't know who's responding to these emails, right? But because other times I've spoken to people, when this person has responded before, it's like, oh no, there's nothing we could do. Oh no, there's nothing we do. But then when I speak to other people, it's like, oh yeah, let me look into that. Oh, and they'll even jump on a call and help me troubleshoot and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not going to have the show lose. And then I checked, when is my renewal date for the software? And it's like in 2 or 3 days. I say, oh, you know what? We're gonna be using OBS tonight. I'm gonna get as much as I can configured, and then I'll continue to configure it throughout the next couple of days. But we are not doing this. Nope, we're not doing this. Nope, nope, nope. Is what it is. Is what it is, right? So when software companies tell me that there's nothing that they can do on their end when they control it, because YouTube, like if you disconnect from YouTube, right, and you have it not set to auto stop, it'll just keep looping and looping and looping until it gets a connection back. So I'm like, how is it possible that there's nothing that you can do on your end? Nothing? It's just a configuration. If it tries for up to a minute, that means that I should say, oh, I want you to try up to 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes, indefinitely, until I say to stop it. But nope, there's nothing that we can do on our end. Well, guess what? Guess what? There is something I can do on my end. And what is that? I can take my talents to OBS.